Did you know the very first wedding ring was a snake in a circle? Oh man, there goes that rabbit hole again. Now I understand why people don't be wanting the truth. The truth will free you, yes, but also it comes with sadness because the curtains have been pulled back and the fantasy has been broken. The lies begin to fade away and disappear. Wow, what was once hidden in the background is now sitting in the forefront. Are wedding rings pagan? Nowhere in the Bible are we commanded by the Most High to wear wedding bands, which is wedding rings. You see, a ring is a circle, right? It's supposed to be like a beginning with no end, because a circle has no end. It's in a circle. Same thing with karma. Karma moves around like a circle. You throw a boomerang and it comes back to you. That's how karma works. Whatever you put out to the universe, based upon your acts and deeds, comes back to you or those you love. So, in essence, karma is a universal boomerang. But that's another topic. Sorry, y'all. Let's stay on topic now. Looking like a snake swallowing its own tail is what a ring looks like. Oh, we finna get deep with this one, y'all. Don't worry, we about to deep dive. Now, I must forewarn you, I don't have all of this stuff fully understood and mapped out. I've been sitting on this idea of doing this video for quite some time. Today is what? Sunday, February 4th. Dang, where does the time go? And it's 2:36 p.m. But in the future, when I come into a complete understanding of all of this, I will do more videos on this particular topic. Hopefully, my elders who secretly watch my videos hidden in the clouds will be inspired by this video and will do a video on this of their own. Because I want to learn more too, like y'all. I don't know everything. I'm growing more and more each day in this truth. I still feel like I'm still a baby in this truth, so don't judge me. Okay? Let's continue. Before we continue, did you know that the Lord hates divorce? And the word putting away in biblical terms means divorce. Fellas, when you divorce your wife, you are now taking away her head covering, which is also her protection from the world. (1 Peter 3). Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Yah of great price. Did y'all know we're not even supposed to be wearing gold? Did y'all know that? Whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold. We're not supposed to be wearing gold, ladies and fellas. Malachi 2:16. I'm going to read from, 14. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yet is she thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant. And did not he make one? yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. For the Lord, the God of Israel, said that he hated it putting away. For one coveted violence with his garment, said the Lord of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously. It's deep, because this is deep, because it says, and wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed. Even the Lord wants you to bear children. He wants the man and the woman to be in full righteousness, but he also wants y'all to have an offspring. It says here, and did he not make one? Meaning, when it says, yet is she thy companion, right? This your woman, and the wife of thy covenant. They're married to one another. They made a covenant. That's an oath, a promise you made to the Creator. So it's a question. And did not he make one? Meaning, did he? Of course, like he knows. He's. It's philosophical, but it's spiritual. I don't want to say philosophical, but you get what I'm saying. So he's asking, did you not make a covenant with your wife? Well, yes. Okay. Yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed. He wants y'all to have children. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. Don't take advantage of your ladies, fellas. Just because she's submissive and feminine doesn't give you the right to bully her or to abuse her in any way. I just wanted to read that real quick. Would read the whole chapter, but this video would be too long. Okay, where do I want to start? Almost 5,000 years ago, ancient Egypt was the first known culture where people would exchange rings of love, often made of woven reeds or leather. It is said that the Egyptians saw the ring, a circle, as a powerful symbol. The ancient Egyptian pharaohs, as far as we have evidence, were the first to wear rings. The rings depicted a snake devouring its own tail. Remember what I said in the beginning? It's like a snake swallowing up its own tail. What in Greek was called
an Ouroboros.
Literally, tail devourer. The Ouroboros represented the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth, which was an especially significant motif in Egyptian culture, as it was tied directly to the annual flooding of the Nile, which was vital for maintaining the fertility of the surrounding farmland. As time wore on, Egyptians of all social classes exchanged rings made out of braided reeds and hemp as a symbol of their undying love and devotion to one another. Again, circle, eternity. These rings would be worn on the fourth finger of the individual's left hand, as it was believed that there was a vein that ran directly from the finger to the heart. The Romans would later refer to this as the vena amoris, or vein of love. As we know now, there is no love vein, but the sentiment and tradition still carry on. Yeah, even to this day. When the Greeks, led by Alexander the Great, conquered the Egyptians, the Greek adopted the Egyptian tradition of ring exchanging. Rather than exchange rings made of reeds and hemp, the Greeks opted for materials such as iron and copper. This is where it all stems from, y'all. Paganism, and later gold during the 2nd century. The rings of the wives were often engraved with images of keys as a way to recognize the wife's newfound control over her family's household. This style of ring was known as signet ring, which is still popular to today. All of this comes from the Egyptians and the Greeks and the Romans. When the Roman Empire conquered Greece, Roman jewelry makers began carving images of Eros or Cupid into the signet rings to show the couple's love and devotion to one another. Sometimes the couple's portrait was even engraved into the ring. The actual engraving that was carved into the ring is known as an intaglio, but the engraving itself can be anything. At first, the intaglios were carved from the metal of the ring, and later on, when rings were set with precious gems in the Middle Ages, the intaglios were carved onto the gemstones themselves. Wedding rings became more and more lavish as time wore on. Fidi ring, which depicted two collapsing hands, became increasingly popular. Then came the gemelle ring. In some cases, this ring paid homage to the Fidi rings, as both rings depicted two interlocking hands. But what primarily distinguished the gemelle ring was that it was made up of two separate interlocking pieces. During a couple's engagement, each partner would wear one of the two rings. Once the couple was officially wed, the bride would wear both rings on her finger. Another ring that rose to popularity during this time is known as the Posi ring. It was a simple band that was engraved with poetry, very much a Lord of the Rings style ring. The evolution of rings paused. Puritans, please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing these things right, believed any type of jewelry to be ferocious. Instead of gifting rings, husbands presented their wives with dimples for sewing clothes and textiles. At some point, individuals would saw off the top of their dimples to create their own simple band. Simple wedding bands became the norm for a long time and continued on into the early 1900s. Women had consistently worn wedding bands throughout the centuries, but wedding rings for men were not always in fashion. It wasn't until the beginning of the 20th century that it became once again popular for men to wear wedding bands. So you mean to tell me that men wasn't even wearing rings, it was just the woman wearing rings? Interesting. Things that made you go, It served as a reminder of their wives and families when they were fighting overseas during World War II. Oh, really? Now, we're in an exciting point in wedding ring history because wedding and engagement rings are becoming popular for all genders and partners. Well, where is the Lord in all this? What does he have to say about this? Remember, wedding rings themselves don't actually have a gender, and you shouldn't let fashion dictate whether or not you want to wear a ring or not to commemorate your wedding or your engagement. And it says rings for all. A circular symbol that depicts a snake or dragon devouring its own tail that is used especially to represent the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth. That's what y'all got on y'all fingers. A serpent shaped in a circle, swallowing its own tail. It's just a remixed version of what they was doing in Egypt and the Greeks and the Romans. What does Ouroboros mean in Christianity? Life/rebirth. Represents evil in the Bible, but in Roman and Greek culture at the time had the meaning of life and rebirth. And in the Ouroboros and healing, the rod, there go those words, y'all, still used as a symbol in the modern medicine. You can even find this in the Hindu cosmology when it comes to Ouroboros. Did you know that? Hindu cosmology features an Ouroboros as helping to prop up the earth. The Ouroboros was adopted by Gnostics, philosophers in the 2nd century BCE. For them, it symbolized the dual nature of existence, marked by life and death, male and female, light and dark, mortality and divinity, or earth and heaven. The Ouroboros, or Ouroboros, is an ancient symbol depicting a serpent, there we go, or dragon, eating its own tail. Ha, there you go. Let's move on. Alright, so that's just a brief history of where wedding bands, which is rings, come from. Now let me know what y'all think. We'll talk more on this at another time. Your boy Donnie.